Subscribe for more stories and show your support by giving this video a thumbs up. Guardians of the Blue Depths, in the clutches of the ghost net. Right in the heart of the Pacific Ocean floated a futuristic structure resembling a giant jellyfish, Blue Horizon Station. This station was home to young ocean guardians from all around the world. Their mission was simple but vital, to heal the ocean. Kai, the team leader, was studying the giant screen in the station's control room. Kai was Hawaiian and knew the ocean like the back of his hand. "The currents are changing," Kai said, frowning. "A massive trash heap coming from the north is moving towards Rainbow Reef." Ilara, the technology expert, checked the data on her tablet. Ilara was Norwegian, and she had invented the underwater drones, unmanned sea vehicles, herself. "My sensors say there aren't just plastic bottles in that pile, Kai," Ilara said. "There is something denser, heavier. And it's moving." At that moment, Ravi, who rose from his meditation cushion in the corner of the room, spoke in a calm voice. Ravi, who was from India, had a natural ability to communicate with sea creatures. "I sense fear there," Ravi said. "Someone is calling for help. But their voice is very muffled." The three friends looked at each other. There was no need to sound the alarm. Duty was calling them. They ran to the prep room. The diving suits they put on were no ordinary suits. These suits, which they called aqua armor, protected them from the pressure of the deep and allowed them to swim as fast as dolphins thanks to the jet motors on their backs. "Are communication channels open?" asked Kai. Ilara gave a thumbs up as she put on her helmet. "Loud and clear. I've also prepped the cleaner drones. They will collect the microplastics while we deal with the big pieces." Ravi checked the sonic calming device at his waist. "I am ready too." The bottom hatch of the station opened. Whoosh! The three little diners plunged into the cool blue waters. Underwater was a completely different world. Sunlight filtered down from the surface, descending in dancing beams. A school of tuna passing by greeted them, scattering silvery glimmers. But as they descended towards Rainbow Reef, the scenery began to change. The reef was normally a colorful underwater forest formed by corals. Clownfish, sea turtles, and colorful shrimp lived here. However, now, a massive, gray shadow covered the reef. "There it is," Kai said over his radio. "A piece broken off from the great garbage patch." As they got closer, they understood the seriousness of the situation. This wasn't just floating plastic bottles. This was one of the ocean's most dangerous traps, a ghost net. It was a pile of synthetic, unbreakable netting, miles long, abandoned or lost by fishing boats. And drifting with the current, it was about to crash onto the reef. If it crashed, it would break the corals and trap thousands of creatures. "Stop!" shouted Ravi suddenly. "Look at the center of the net. That's what's moving." Ilara turned her helmet lights to that spot. The sight they saw broke their hearts. A young manta ray was tangled in that massive net with its giant wings. The more it tried to break free, the tighter the net got, dragging it toward the bottom. "We need a plan," said Kai coolly. "The net is too big and heavy. If we start cutting immediately, the weight of the net might collapse onto the manta." Ilara made her calculations immediately. "Kai, you and I need to place lift balloons on the four corners of the net. When we inflate the balloons, the net will lift up. Ravi, You must calm the manta and cut it free from the net. Understood, said Kai. Be careful, warned Ravi. The manta is terrified. It could hurt you with its tail. The team split up. Using the jets on their backs, Kai and Ilara quickly zipped around the net. They locked the metal capsules, lift balloons, they took from their belt bags onto strategic points of the net. Balloons active, shouted Ilara. Hiss! Compressed air released from the capsules began to inflate the balloons. The massive pile of netting slowly began to lift upwards like a clumsy giant. The reef took a breath. But the manta was still a prisoner. Ravi glided slowly to the manta's side. The ray was looking at him with its huge eyes, flashing in panic. Ravi slowly reached out his hand. He emitted a low-frequency, humming sound, like a whale song, from his helmet. Calm down, friend, whispered Ravi. We came to help you. Hearing the sound, the manta slowed its movements. It understood that Ravi wouldn't hurt it. Ravi took out his laser cutter. This tool could cut through even the hardest plastic like butter without harming sea creatures. Buzz! Buzz! Ravi started cutting the thick ropes tangled around the manta's wing one by one. However, the final knot was badly tangled around the manta's tail and was connected to the main body of the net. Just then, something unexpected happened. The current above suddenly shifted. One of the inflated balloons snagged on a sharp piece of plastic and burst. Boom! One side of the net suddenly started falling down towards Ravi and the manta. Ravi! Watch out, shouted Kai. Kai dove down with the speed of a torpedo. He got under the falling giant block of netting and engaged the hydraulic boosters on his shoulders. I can't hold it for long, groaned Kai. Tons of weight were on him. Ilara rushed to help immediately. Hold on, Kai. Ilara attached her spare balloon to replace the burst one, but it would take time to inflate. Ravi had only seconds. He had to free the manta's tail, but the knot was too messy. If he used the laser cutter, he might injure the manta. Ilara! Throw your knife, shouted Ravi. Ilara threw the titanium knife at her waist to Ravi. Ravi caught the knife in midair. Without using the laser, by feel and with great care, he started cutting the final rope. Kai was running out of breath. Hurry up! Ravi made the final move. Snap! The rope broke. Now, shouted Ravi. Feeling free, the manta flapped its giant wings. The wave of water it created pushed Ravi to a safe zone. At the same time, the new balloon Ilara attached inflated and lightened the load on Kai. Kai quickly escaped from under the net. The three friends gathered at a safe distance and watched, breathless. Thanks to the balloons, that massive, ugly ghost net rising to the surface would no longer harm the reef. The collection ship above would pick it up and take it for recycling. But the real prize was below. The freed manta ray hadn't fled. It circled wide around the team. Then, as if to say thank you, it performed a graceful flip and glided into the deep blue. The corals of Rainbow Reef had started to shine again with the shadow lifted from above them. When the team surfaced, the sun was about to set. The ocean was bathed in colors of orange and purple. They took off their masks and took a deep breath. Fresh air filled their lungs. Ilara sent the coordinates of the rising net to the ship with her tablet. Mission accomplished, guys. The net is secured. Kai smiled, pushing his wet hair back. That was a close call. Ravi was still looking down, under the water. You know, said Ravi. Sometimes I think cleaning the ocean is impossible. There is too much trash. Kai put his hand on Ravi's shoulder. We can't clean the whole ocean in a day, Ravi. But today, we changed the world for that manta. That's what matters. Ilara chimed in. Plus, my new, trash-eating drones are going online next week. Our job will get even easier. The three friends laughed together. The lights of Blue Horizon Station were blinking in the distance. The ocean was still vast, still fighting pollution. But as long as there were guardians like Kai, Ilara, and Ravi, the blue depths always had hope. They kicked their fins for the next adventure and started swimming home. The end.